Hello, welcome back to the Prestige TV podcast feed. I'm Joanna Robinson.
I'm Rob Mahoney.
I have a very serious announcement to start this podcast, Rob.
Hit us.
We've been through a lot of trials and triumphs, you and I. We're still each other's biggest fans.
Yeah.
Please respect our privacy at this time. And most of all, I can't wait to see Rob sink birdie after birdie the back nine of his life.
You know what? I'm going to need a new photo. I'm going to need a complete rewrite on the caption. I don't accept.
It's Beef Part 2 of Season 2. We're here to do episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then we will drop 7 and 8 later on this week.
Yep.
And that is how you cover binge television on the Prestige TV podcast feed.
We simply love it.
Episodes 1 through 3, that episode's already up, so you can check that out. Also, of course, like we did the pit finale. We've done a couple Euphoria episodes. Anything else you want to say about the feed in general, Rob Mahoney?
Yes, if you would like to email us about Beef or any of these other shows, you can email us at prestigetv@spotify.com, or you can come check us out on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot at Prestige TV Pod.
There's a very special family photo up on the Instagram right now.
It warms my heart.
It really does.
It's going straight on the fridge.
All right. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're doing categories again and stuff like that, but we do want to have a bigger general discussion before we get into that.
For sure.
So we've got 3 episodes here. 2 of them are sort of shorter, almost mirror episodes. We get episode 4 is Ashley and Austin in the hospital, and then episode 5 is Lindsay and Josh and the loss of Burberry, which we're going to talk about in a second, you and I. What did you make of that sort of setup? It was sort of an unusual, one couple in one episode, one couple in another episode with a little crossover.
I like the focus of it.
Yeah.
I thought these were pretty good episodes overall. I'm enjoying where we are with the season as a whole. I will say there are some points in the plot machinations now where it's like, I just don't fully believe that these people would be trying to be friends, even in the ways that they are kind of trying to be friends. But I just like these actors being together, delivering these conversations so much. I'm just along for the ride.
So we'll talk about sort of the reshuffling of the pairs that we get over the course of this episode. But this is sort of that end of season escalation, weirdification that I was sort of alluding to in our first part. Obviously, you and I have not seen 7 and 8 yet. I don't know where we go from here, but already we have like Ashley's hospital experience, which involves not only the dream sequence of waking up from surgery, but before she goes into surgery, sort of like weird stuff happening with the patients around her. You get Josh's drug trip in episode 6. Woosh dies.
Woosh is just straight up dead.
Woosh is fully dead. And doesthedogdie.com. Yes.
Oh my God.
Rob, as a dog guy, how are you doing?
I'm fucked up.
Burberry the first.
Well, let me say this first. As someone who recently moved to Los Angeles and has a dog and has had many like near miss coyote dog encounters.
Really?
I mean, I'm just terrified at this point. They're all around. They're prowling, especially. Look, I'm not proud of my current sleep schedule, but the last we're going to take a trip out of the night with the dog, sometimes happening well after midnight. The streets are dead and quiet. Everything is chill.
Coyotes are roaming?
Oh, they're prowling.
Oh.
So I'm a little concerned about my own Burberry situation. I would like to think that I would be capable of the Lindsay-esque grab the coyote, whip, body slam, revenge kill, if such a thing were required. But I also don't want to kill this coyote. I don't want it to attack my dog in the first place.
Rob, I know how you feel about your dog. I believe you would.
I might.
Pull a Lindsay.
I think I would be capable of like incredible strength and resolve in that particular moment.
Where are you in general? So, you're a dog person. I'm a cat person, but we care about pets in general. But like, where are you in stories where a dog is in peril or a dog? Like, are you out? It doesn't seem like you're out.
No.
Like, how do you feel about it?
It definitely ratchets up. And I will say, I think some of it is just the shock of if you are an animal person, seeing that on screen is very jarring.
Yeah.
But also, it's so unusual for that exact reason that you barely ever see it followed through to this extent. So I was just like jaw dropped that they went to the lengths that they did with Burberry and the coyote. I thought for sure he was going to make it through surgery and be an adorable cast, but no, like this is not that kind of show. This is not that kind of dog. Everything is falling apart, including our guy Burberry.
I've been really worried for you because you and Dev were sharing sort of Burberry social media videos and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, I already knew what happened to Burberry.
Well, I'm glad they let him have his moment on the red carpet.
What's your philosophy on Burberry the second, like naming the second dog the same name as the first dog?
I wouldn't recommend it. I have taken to calling him Michael Kors instead. I think there's lots of options on the table, but he can't be Burberry.
Louis Vuitton, a little LV
Sure.
moment. Sure, why not? Michael, of course. Excellent stuff. Okay, so in terms of reshuffling the alliances, right? It was Josh and Lindsay versus Ashley and Austin.
Yes.
And now it's a little bit Ashley and Lindsay versus Josh and Austin. A little bit.
Stronger on the former.
Yes.
Lindsay and Ashley seem to be developing an actual bond. Granted, one that came from a she's all that type, like I was planning to manipulate you, but actually I've come to really appreciate our friendship.
They kind of both had that conversation.
Yes.
I will say Ashley's very much like, fuck Josh, I hate that guy, right? And she has
Definitively.
very personal reasons too. Austin's a little bit more like, why do you think Lindsay wants to be friends with you?
Yeah.
Is she on the up and up? What is she up to? So it's a little less like, fuck her, but it's that's not Austin's style anyway.
But I also think Austin doesn't seem as receptive to Josh's advances. It's a little
more
like
of a business arrangement.
It's a business arrangement. It's like I'm trying to get in with my boss. Yeah, I'm like trying to help him chat GPT his way through the construction of this cold plunge. But then when he leaves, it's very much like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And some of that is the drug trip. I think some of it is just they're not quite on the same wavelength in the way that Lindsay and Ashley are at this moment.
I think it's interesting to watch what episode 1 through 3 were like a generational divide. Now we're on a gender divide,
Yes.
right? And what's so interesting is like this show is I really like this season a lot, and I think the writing is really, really sharp, and it is so sharp that it might not be immediately obvious to me, but on second, like the fact that Lindsay and Ashley are talking about fertility and Josh and Austin are talking about, hey, what happens if you want to fuck someone who's not your wife, could not be more on like very stereotypical gender lines if you tried, but not in a way that feels sort of like rote and pathetic.
Yeah.
Like it all seems very, I mean, it's all still very sharply funny and really natural, but I think it's interesting for a show like this, especially when season 1, was about sort of strangers colliding, and these couples are strangers, but inside of the couples there are these dynamics, and so to reshuffle the deck and reshuffle the dynamic that it is sort of men versus women versus generation versus generation, I think that's a really, you talked about the Rube Goldberg is a way you describe sort of the various ways in which this plot is turning. And I think this is a kind of fun, unexpected way for the plot to turn.
Definitely. Some of it, again, like strains credulity for me just a bit. This isn't a show where like I need to be on board with every single beat.
I don't think Beef is ever asking you to believe that this is how normal humans would ever react.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
I think it's less a normal human thing and more like take Ashley, for example. That's a character we have seen really hyperfixate on some like really small social interactions, right? Like she just like analyzes and she's in her head and she's like a little neurotic in the way she gets bogged down in some of that stuff. When Lindsay tells her after she just went through this like harrowing situation at the hospital, I guess it's a good thing you got that health insurance then, is like a borderline like inhuman thing to say to someone in that circumstance. And I'm a little surprised like Ashley didn't take that more personally.
To be fair, Lindsay doesn't know how bad the deductible is on her health insurance.
No, but it's like the idea of I'm going into a hospital with pain, I'm not taken seriously, I collapse and I wake up with an ovary removed, and it's like, well, I'm glad you got to pay for it.
But there are also ways in which I think my interpretation in that moment, that's entirely fair. I think my interpretation in that moment is Ashley is feeling such tremendous guilt over her involvement in the Burberry of it all that she's just sort of willing to let Lindsay say a bunch of shit, and she's just like, yeah, I deserve this. Whatever this is.
The self-punishment.
I deserve this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I wanted to ask you about, and they do, like Josh has this conversation with Austin where he was like, this was my plan while you were on the drugs. I was going to get the video, but I really like you, man, sort of thing. And then Lindsay has a very similar over champagne, not, toad hallucinogens, has a very similar conversation with Ashley. You were sort of saying you kind of buy the Lindsay-Ashley bond, especially I think because they're doing crime together, which is always a nice bonding experience. You buy that more than you buy a potential Josh and Austin alliance. Yeah.
Which is, I think, a little odd for where I would have expected to be. Just because Austin feels like the kind of guy you could sort of pull one over on.
He's way we have this like himbo category that we did last night.
It
is like kind of light on the himbo inside of these episodes. So he's wising up. I love it. Something I was thinking about, you saw the Park Chan-wook film No Other Choice that
Of
came out
course.
last year. I know.
Loved it.
I know. I love that movie. And I was just thinking about it a lot, especially like in Ashley's like B&E moment. Not just the sort of like clam jam blood in the OJ sort of situation, but just sort of like creeping around someone's house and doing things and it escalating beyond where you
Gets out of
expected.
control.
Like Park Chan-wook obviously like has the whole Vengeance trilogy. Like Vengeance is something that he's been interested in, but No Other Choice, not to like get too far into the weeds about that, but that is someone who starts the movie kind of normal and winds up escalating the lengths he will go to get a job. Again, you're not supposed to believe that anyone would actually behave this way.
No, but it's like, what if a person did entertain every intrusive thought that came into their head?
And that's kind of where we are in this season.
That's
and I really like it. And I don't know if there's other movies that come to mind like that, but I think what I've decided is that genre is really for me.
Yes.
Of just sort of like watch someone normal completely, and it works even better over like the course of a television series. Watch, especially if you go back to the beginning and you watch, they're setting you up for this, but you watch Austin and Ashley, who are just sort of like, we're so sweet and nice and in love, and rich people are weird and we would never do that, or we would never do that, or all of this sort of stuff like that. And then just a few episodes later, Ashley's doing all the shit that she's doing, and Austin's knee deep in trouble and all this sort of stuff like that. It's really
appreciated
fun.
Austin's moment of like post blackmail clarity, though, of like, if you looked at what we've done, we're not great.
Don't look great.
Does not look great.
Yeah.
But I think the contrast, whether you're talking about Park's work or these kinds of shows, it's the absurdity of these like heightened reactions to normal personal intersocial things. And then like larger thematic impositions on what that means, or kind of where you're taking that. Like that's the delicate balance, right? It's like, can you say something very grounded and human with this like elevated, crazy behavior?
Exactly. And I think we got an interesting email from a listener who did not enjoy the first episode and is like out on Beef season 2. That's fine. And his point was sort of like, A, people don't really behave like this, and B, I don't really like these people. And I'm just sort of like, I don't expect to like these people or watch them behave like normal humans are supposed to behave.
I don't know why season 1 would give you that expectation.
It's fair enough. Quick question for you, Rob. Does the color of the Gatorade impact the quench? What do you think?
I think it does impact the quench.
Does it?
I certainly do have preferences. I think we all do, but mine are polar opposite from Ashley's.
Okay, great to know. I don't really drink Gatorade at all, but were I to, it would be red or blue for me every day of the week.
So you're pretty aligned
with Ashley, yeah.
She's a red. Maybe this is like a men are from Mars, women are from Venus situation.
Yellow, never.
I yellow first and foremost every single time.
But it looks like fluorescent piss. Like, why would you want to drink that?
Because it tastes delicious.
But you really think it quenches better than red or blue does?
Here's the thing. Red does not quench effectively for me. This is almost like a lemonade conundrum where it's like, I'm conditioned to all sorts of like soda-related sugar levels. I can drink Diet Coke all day. Lemonade, for some reason, it feels like so sweet that I just feel more thirsty after drinking it. And I have the same reaction to red Gatorade specifically.
Okay. Is it quite okay? Why am I guess I'm just weighing in on like the colors I naturally the not found in nature colors that I naturally gravitate towards, and like I'm always in for a red. Like, but that's a little bit more candy based than it is something.
I mean, it's just a little fruit punchy in this case, but blue is the color we can all come together around. The least natural color that exists.
Is it like a blue raz? Is that what it is?
Well, there are usually like polar ice or whatever. So honestly, who the fuck knows what the actual flavor is? But it tastes refreshing.
And then was it a green? Is that the fourth option?
There's a purple.
Oh, purple.
Yeah. Also similar like glacier freeze or
sure.
Again, they're making stuff up.
Sick Arctic burn, bro, but it'll quench the thirst.
Sure does.
All right. Further question for you. Is 0 normal on the pain scale?
I'm glad you brought this up. Can we just jump straight into our Himbo-iest moment now, which unfortunately for Ashley, I think is tilting Bimbo-iest moment with this particular exchange. Thinking that 5 is average on the pain scale.
I don't know, Rob, but I'm going to push back on this.
Okay,
Men are from Mars, women are from the Venus, and I'm going to say this.
I want to hear the argument. I want to hear the argument.
You and I both live our lives with like slightly chronic back pain.
Of course.
So isn't a little bit of pain just kind of normal?
But her argument was like, what are you supposed to do when you feel good? And she was like, 0 would be good because I'm swinging anti-pain. And it's like, I don't think this is the way it works. It certainly doesn't work like LetterBoxd.
-5 is suddenly miraculously all of my chronic pain is gone or something like that.
But I don't think we're getting into the negatives on this particular scale.
I think 0 is I'm in a bit of pain. Isn't that what Ashley's saying?
I think 0 is whatever your status quo is. That's 0. So then, unfortunately for us, at our ages,
kind of Oppenheimer.
Low
you
key,
know what I mean?
low key pain. Do you have a philosophy on the LetterBoxd part of this though? Like on a 5-star system of evaluating a movie, what is average?
Can I tell you why I'm a bad LetterBoxd user?
Because you don't rate anything.
I do rate things.
You don't put stars on there though.
No, that's not true.
What?
I just don't use LetterBoxd that often.
That's also
but when I
a
do
flaw.
use it, I put stars on it.
Okay, fair
but
enough.
Here's the thing: is like I feel bad because like, what if people see that I gave something a 1 star and they worked on it or something like that?
You can only be yourself.
I kind of give most things a 3.
3 is the bottom.
Kind of.
Oh no.
And then, like, if I really loved it, it's a 5. And,
Yes.
you know, you can do a 4.5 or a 3.5 or a 4. Like, it's like 3 is my 0 for LetterBoxd. Unless it's like I'm deeply offended by it or something like that. Yeah.
I do think the idea that 2.5 is an average movie, not the way I think about it, or certainly if you're watching a lot of 2.5-star movies, maybe you need to change what your average movie is that you're consuming.
Every year, one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm going to really use LetterBoxd this year.
I think 2026 is your year.
It's already April, man. It
Guess
feels
what?
late.
There's still time for you.
It feels late.
There's still time.
I always mean to be a better LetterBoxd user, but
if you're on LetterBoxd, go find Joe's account right now. Follow.
Joe wrote this, I think.
Joe wrote
probably.
this. Spam some likes. Comment on some of the reviews.
Rob, what's your user?
No comment. I'm just trying to get your numbers up.
What?
Trying to get your numbers up, Joe.
I actually have, like, what's kind of sad is I have, like, actually not a sizable, but I have, like, a decent following on LetterBoxd.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all these people, what are you expecting from me? I'm not showing up or doing anything. I feel very bad
But they're
about
delighted
it.
when you do.
Is midnight the middle of the night, Rob?
This gets back into our sleep cycle conundrum. For
Is
me,
4 in the morning the middle of the night?
For me, midnight. Okay, it depends on what you're asking. For eating purposes, I do think midnight is the middle of the night.
Okay. For a pet?
I mean, if you're feeding your pet at midnight, something has gone off schedule.
I have an automatic feeder for my pet and for my cat, and the whole point of that is for her to disassociate me. She's a very food motivated cat, and I don't want her to come to me. It's like that robot over there is what gives you food, not me. That's the whole point of it.
This is how I know you're not a dog person, because it's like that's the only reason my dog loves me is because I feed her. So I need that.
My cat loves me. She's extremely codependent. She only likes me and no one else. I've done a very bad job of raising my cat. But anyway,
that's beautiful.
She it goes off early. Like it goes off, I think, at like 5 or something like that. So she doesn't try to wake me up.
Right.
It goes off
That
early,
makes
so
sense.
she doesn't have a chance at like 6 or 7 to paw at me and be like, "Where the hell is my food?"
Right.
Does your dog wake you up for food?
No.
Okay.
She knows better than
she's
that.
better.
She knows the rules.
So midnight is the middle of the night.
But
never.
See, the more we say it, it's like it's definitely early in the night. Just if you're just clocking out the hours.
Rob, it's not early in the night, but I'll give you 2 is the middle of the night.
That feels
we
fair.
agree?
That feels like a
Great.
fair compromise.
We did it.
Blue
We did it.
Gatorade. 2 a.m. is the middle of the night. Anything else you want to settle?
0 is normal on the pain scale.
Whatever your normal is.
Okay. Do you want to talk about transactional relationships?
I mean, this episode makes me want to, whether I would like to or not.
Okay. So we're new-ish LA people.
We are.
Right? So we're new to a town that is like an industry town.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the people we meet are connected to, in some way, the industry that we are somewhat connected to. And so by virtue of that, in a way that it was never true for me in the Bay Area, there is this approach that you can...
You weren't in like crypto? What was going on?
I'm not a tech pro.
No?
I hate to break it to you. There is this like approach that certainly I would not say not everyone, not the majority of people I've met in LA, but certainly more than I've ever encountered in my life of this, what can you do for me sort of approach that people have in this town. Have you experienced that? Is that something that feels new to you, or?
I haven't experienced that so much here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we've all experienced it one time or another. And
Sure.
we need I think a German word for that very specific like soul falling feeling of like you're having a conversation with somebody at a mix or at a party, at a wedding, whatever, and you can feel their eyes drift from you behind you to find the next person that
Someone
they want
shinier.
to be talking to.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels terrible.
Do you feel like that happens to you less because you're so tall and it's like hard for them to sort of like find someone fine?
I don't think that's true. I would like if that were the case, but it comes for us all. When
Josh was talking about if I do this for Troy, maybe will Troy help me later? gave me real like
Tough.
welcome to LA sort of energy.
Yeah.
Last but not least, sort of before we get into our categories, do you have an MVP of this or an MVP moment of this stretch of episodes?
That's a great question. Honestly, like the main core ensemble feels really balanced to me. I don't feel like anyone is necessarily outshining. I would say for this stretch of episodes, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Carey Mulligan. She kind of has the most to do in a lot of ways.
The most despair over Burberry.
Right. I think, and in particular, her like
the most murdering of coyotes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, she's got the action. She's got the emotion.
Yeah.
She's got like I'm mapping out a search grid based on where the light last shone last to find Burberry.
Pretty impressive.
Genuinely.
Also a depression fleece in the mix. Like, yeah, we're doing it all.
And by the end of these episodes, the main kind of like machinations that are accelerating the divorce or intensifying the divorce. So I would say she's probably mine for this
prop
stretch.
comedy with a giant present, getting hit by a child.
The snake. The snake prop comedy was also very good. How are you feeling though? Do you have an MVP?
There was a moment. So I think overall, it's hard because when I've been taking notes and sort of going back through and awarding things, Charles Melton is coming up a lot. Like Charles Melton is carrying the comedy in a very significant way, which is very key.
And the conscience, I would say.
They're all amazing, but I think Kaylee Spaney and I said this before, but there's a moment in this stretch, I think it's episode 6, where Eunice comes into the office and is like trying to get the invoices, right?
The forbidden invoices.
And you know, they're doing the whole like, I love your style, let's go shopping. But when she first comes in, Ashley like pops up to hug her. And the way the shot is framed, like the back of Eunice's head is to the camera. So you get Ashley smiling at her and then going in for the hug. So her face comes around the other side and it's a completely different, I fucking hate you face. And she gives her like a brusque slap or two on the back.
Slap on the back is
And then she comes back across the frame to the other side and it's pasted back on. I was like, that's some good shit from Kaylee Spaney. Like,
Kaylee Spaney's got it.
She's really good.
In so many different ways. And just like one of these actors who I would just hesitate to pigeonhole her into anything. I would love to see her in just like the widest variety of roles possible over the next 5 years because of this sort of like transformational potential.
We didn't talk about Romulus, like Alien Romulus. Like what was your experience watching her in that?
I mean, she was dope.
She was great.
That's a perfect example of like, would I have picked her for that role? I wouldn't have known to, but I'm glad somebody saw it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Anything else in a sort of general way you want to talk about before we get into our categories?
Let's get into it.
All right. Each character's worst decision. Starting with our guy, Josh.
I think Josh's worst decision in these episodes is to say over text, I heard you met David. You're welcome. Like, that's a text that ruins your life.
Horrible.
He
was already in trouble when Dr. Allen came in and was like, hey, if you could have gotten to me sooner, I could have helped you right away.
But then the gloat.
I think
the turn and gloat gets me every turn. The stay and gloat gets me every time.
I think that but I don't think he meant it that. I don't think he's aware.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think there is an obliviousness in that moment where he kind of thinks he maybe didn't do the best thing because of the whole waiting room situation. And we're going to talk more about that. But I think this is him thinking he made a half measure to reconcile it and doesn't fully realize how fucked a thing that is to say.
I have trying to leverage Ashley's medical care in the blackmail scheme. Like, that's just doing that in the first place is we're in the emergency room. Like, have a moment to think before you decide to make that the time to bargain.
This is where I want to double dip because you and I had a conversation last pod about what makes a manipulation diabolical.
Yeah.
This is fucking diabolical.
Okay.
Right? Like, this is crossing the threshold of, this is a bad thing, but then specifically using that leverage to try to get the video deleted, spinning it into this person you're trying to squeeze suffering life-altering consequences because of the precious hours that she was sitting in this waiting room too long because of your shit. I mean, that's diabolical.
So, okay, last time we were sort of disagreeing about the definition of diabolical, and I was like saying it more about the intensity of it, and you were saying more about like the longevity or the steps inside of it.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
It's like the intentions themselves obviously need to be twisted.
Yeah.
And in a very particular, like, cruel sort of way. Like, you know better. You know this is a terrible thing to do to somebody in a bad moment, and you're choosing to do it like Josh does here. But then also, I think the implications have to be more than just like, it was a tough conversation for them, you know?
In that sense, Your answer is better than mine. My answer for that, for the diabolical manipulation category, is Ashley pretending to have pain from her surgery that she doesn't have just to end the
Anything.
conversation.
Tea. Yeah.
Chamomile in the big mug.
The big mug.
Like, girl, no.
Well, let's just go fully down the manipulation chain while we're here. I do want to give like special honorable mention to the guy at the shelter who brings out the dachshund and is like, by the way, this is not a no-kill shelter. That should be illegal. You should not be allowed to do that.
It's Argyle from Stranger Things, just doing his business. I would say also the entire Ava gambit. So like Lindsay and Ashley working as a duo on the golf course.
Pretty good.
Really good. I enjoyed it.
I mean, this is the thing. Like we love a con man story, a con woman story.
We do.
This episode really turns into one.
And when like your target is a rich dummy, I can't be mad about it. I'm in favor of it. Ava deserves everything she has coming towards her.
But she's the only person in the story dumb enough to be happy. You know, it's like, and yet not so happy that she won't find flaws in herself that she desperately needs to fix.
We live in a capitalist society. If we can buy happiness, we will. Let's go back to worst decision. Lindsay's worst decision.
I think it's going to a kid's birthday when you don't even talk to the parents anymore to try to fish out divorce advice.
Free divorce advice from Meredith.
A free divorce consult in a way that, like I was saying, kind of escalates everything that's happening around the divorce.
I think Meredith, what really saved that scene for me, I mean, it was a good scene, but what really saved it for me was Meredith's like laugh when she was like, you have to get into the bouncy house now.
This is the transaction.
Yeah, this is what you have to do. Really good.
How did we not get that? How did we not get
I really agree.
a Carrie Coon on the trampoline-esque moment from Lindsay here?
Yeah, let the Wu-Tang play. What was, there was something kind of uncanny about the back. I couldn't tell if like all of that was happening in the background was actually there.
The party.
Or if they like green screened some of it. I couldn't quite tell.
That's a great shot. It didn't bump for me, but I'd be curious to revisit it.
Like some of the foreground stuff was real, but I thought maybe some of the background stuff was not real. I couldn't tell. Austin's worst decision.
Well, did you have a separate one for Lindsay? I think we're aligned on that. Okay. For Austin, I think for Austin, it's just allowing this PT thing to go on this long.
When do you pull the plug, Rob? Is it when an Olympian walks in?
I mean, there are certain things you can't fake, and one of them is the rehab of Suni Lee, a fucking national treasure. Like, there's just no way. Like, she knows so much more about her body than you, and this may be, if you are reality inclined with this show, the idea that an Olympian would go to a random country club to find their like team of PTs would literally never happen. Certainly someone of Suni Lee's caliber, but Austin had to eject at some point before this. He's way overextended.
His basal metabolic rate. Yeah, it's hard to pick one thing for Austin in here because it's just like he's in a bit of a free fall of his own making. So,
but he's gonna really hurt somebody. It's one thing if you're just like helping people stretch,
and if it's Josh, then we're not that worried about it. But
nor Eunice, who clearly like doesn't need any particular help in this way. But even if Chairwoman Park gets in a session, like you could really injure her.
When Austin's like, if you want to talk sometime before dinner in a public space, and Eunice is like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. That's not what I want from you, my guy. A conversation is not what I'm after. It's pretty great.
The scintillating repartee. Not what she's fishing for.
Can I be honest with you? I would enjoy a long conversation with Austin. I would think you would find it really fun. All right, Ashley.
Yeah.
How can it not be the break-in that leads to Burberry getting out?
It's got to be. I think sneaking into the house to get some revenge, orange juice theatrics included, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to say fine.
orangejuicetheatrics@gmail.com if this were a longer.
There's a blood orange joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to make it.
Okay. Do you want to reconsider doing the charades for Sydney Sweeney and Euphoria?
for this, I absolutely do not. I will not be, you know what, we're just going to keep it moving.
Okay.
But yeah, like leaving the door open in the way that she does, leading to Burberry's death, which she clearly takes very hard, in addition to us, unacceptable.
Really tough. All right, whitest white nonsense.
It's got to be the lady next door, right?
That's a really good one. Get to the Hispanic walking down the street. That's me. You're Greek.
Even just my son set this up for me. Now he lives with a woman he married a woman in Guam.
Are you Polynesian?
Like she's just
very good.
She takes the cake. She takes the chestnut pate.
I think you're right, and she's on my list. But number one on my list is Lindsay apologizing to the coyote for being on its land before she kills it.
Land acknowledgement to a coyote is wild.
Before killing it. is the ultimate white
Yeah.
lady move, I think. Also, Lindsay, I mean, with love and respect to Burberry, Lindsay running down the street yelling, Barry, mommy loves you while squeaking the monkey. That felt fairly Caucasian to me.
All of that, her in the woods at the end before the coyote just yelling treats into the woods for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spare Josh from this too, because when they're searching, he's driving around yelling, Burberry, it's your father.
This show is so good.
It's very good.
Oh, and last but not least, I will say Meredith, who is being bothered at her own child's birthday party, but nonetheless has time to tell her horrible child everyone is in charge of their own body in a way that felt fairly Caucasian to me.
Gentle parenting.
Yeah,
somebody has been oversubscribed to Instagram feeds.
Yeah, I would roughen up that parenting on good old Jimmy is what I would do. So yeah. All right, A24-iest moment.
I think
A24-iest moment.
I think this is just the fact that Burberry actually dies.
Oh,
and I say that because A24, for all of the like, I don't know, the ways that they can be satirized now and the lane that they've kind of drawn themselves into in terms of the sorts of things they produce, when they want to get nasty, they get their hands dirty. It's James Franco sucking off a machine gun. Like, it is neo-Nazis running through a club. It's a priest putting on an explosive vest. Like, they'll get their hands dirty in a way that some other production companies like want to feint at. They want to gesture to the darkness, but like they're like, let's do it.
Classic A24. I love that. The ants are back though. The ants are not only are the ants here on Josh's coffee table, but Ashley has a whole the ants streaming in and out of the tarot trap, and then in the morning they're all dead.
Yes,
like that's
the time lapse ant crawl.
Yeah, with poison.
You know, I did think everyone involved in this story at this point is just not concerned enough about the ants.
I love a tarot trap. They're very effective.
Very effective.
Yeah, yeah.
But even then, it's like you have an ant graveyard and like nobody's exactly sweeping that stuff up.
Yeah.
And then when Josh sees a bunch of ants streaming in around his food, he just like quashes one quietly and emotionally.
Rob, you know why?
Why is that?
There's rot in the mulch.
There's so much rot in the mulch.
And they're just ignoring the problem.
I agree that they're ignoring the problem, but if you busy yourself by cleaning up the symptoms that surround the problem, sometimes it makes you feel better.
Oh, is that better?
It makes you feel better. Okay. Is it better? Remains to be seen.
I will say also the vending machine full of red Gatorade felt very A24 to me. The hospital dream sequence. And then when Lindsay looks at the older woman enjoying her dessert and her newspaper, like sort of wistfully, like,
could be me.
Could be me.
Yeah.
Without a man in my life. I love this future for me. That felt very A24 to me.
Very A24. Yeah. Also literally very A24. The whole like Buffo trip that Josh goes on, which somehow I would say takes him to like the very specific dark void from under the skin. Do not bring any drugs into my life that take me to that place. I'm not interested in going there.
Would you do toad hallucinogens? Is there a circumstance you would?
I think
what if Charles Melton was there?
I would need a Melton style guide.
Melton on ChatGPT helping you through.
That needs someone who actually has experience and doesn't just not even convincingly seem like they have experience.
You need a Buffo Sherpa.
Yes.
That's what you need. Okay, a guide.
A real Buffo bro.
Yeah.
And
Buffo
he pretends to be one, but he's not one.
Guess who I never want to meet in my life? A Buffo bro.
No?
Absolutely not. Like 10 times worse than a ayahuasca bro.
Oh, that's for sure.
And that's a bad vibe. Okay. We've already talked about diabolical manipulation. Realistic shot fired during an argument.
There's a lot of candidates for this one. I think there's going to be a lot of candidates for every bunch of episodes we do, but I think it's the way that Burberry's escape turns into Josh and Lindsay like taking very direct aim at each other. And I have written down specifically, you do this, you always need someone to blame, so you distort reality to build some absurd narrative. Yikes.
In that same argument, it would be Lindsay bringing the literal receipts when she goes, "Oh, you fucked up.
You fucked up." Wonderful.
Brass doorstop. Order for you, you goddamn fucking idiot, with the date on it.
Yeah.
And then Josh, on the other hand, imitating your accent, doing the like,
not so.
Yeah. Like getting really petty inside of that. And that argument will come back up in other categories, obviously. But it was a tremendous performance.
The ramp up of the pettiness between them has been wonderful.
Yeah.
And kind of culminating for me in the Lindsay, like, I'm going to fuck every guy over 5'9" at this club.
Very good.
Again, just knowing exactly what dagger to pull out to wound the person you're with.
Yeah. All right. You've already touched on some Himbo-iest, Bimbo-iest stuff. Remind me what you called the JFK runs on our Love Story coverage.
That's a trauma jog joke.
Yeah, Austin going on some trauma jogs to avoid Lindsay post
Going through
surgery.
it.
Him saying it's a broken system faux show. And then when the aforementioned Olympian comes into his facility and he goes, "What ails you?" and strikes a sort of like thinking man pose.
Very pensive.
Yeah, very good. What else do you have?
As far as other like Himbo-iest stuff, I think just having to recite the Gatorade sequence to himself as he walks down the hall so he doesn't forget it in 30 seconds.
I would do that though.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think you could remember.
No, my memory's bad. Man.
You couldn't remember the list of 4 flavors?
I would. I might not have recited it out loud, but I would recite it in my own head. Yes.
Wow. Red, blue, yellow, no, purple, maybe. Red, blue, yellow,
but I would also
no,
like to
purple,
think
maybe.
that I would already know my partner's Gatorade preference.
That's the damning detail.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Turn a cold plunge into a gold plunge.
Look. I think it's natural to be a little intimidated if you are pretending to be a profession that you're not, incredibly underqualified, and then met with Suni Lee.
Yeah.
And being told that you're now responsible for her rehab and treatment. You're going to say some dumb things. Feels reasonable to me.
Name drop / celebrity cameo.
I'm going to say it again. They got Suni Lee on the show. So, an incredible cameo I was not expecting.
Does it top Baron Davis for you?
I think it does. And all due respect to Suni Lee, very much like athlete acting, pops in.
Ditto Michael Phelps. Ditto,
for sure.
Yes.
Delivering some lines.
Yeah.
Very brief appearance, I imagine.
Yeah. Woodish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're doing their best. And in this case, I found it genuinely shocking in a very funny way.
Not Childish Gambino sharing the missing Burberry post.
That one is very funny.
Not Troy's Hans Zimmer call.
Also great.
Not literally Hot Chip showing up after you called out Hot Chip.
I wanted to save that for another category.
Okay, great. And then actually my favorite, weirdly, in the name drop, not actually showing up, is when they're giving Ava the hard sell on the trip and Ashley pulls out the Shakira and Ava goes, Shakira. Repeats it back with reverence.
To be clear,
yeah.
As far as celebrity endorsements go, if you told me Shakira did almost anything, I'd be like, it must work.
I'll do it.
It makes sense.
The hips don't lie, and neither does Shakira.
This is the thing.
Okay. Most cutting critique of Gen Z.
I actually thought they went a little lighter on the Gen Z. Yes,
both generational
and some of that is what you're talking about, right? We've shifted from generational to a little bit men and women being juxtaposed. My question for you is it a critique of Austin or of Gen Z that he is such a pushover that he gives up the one flavor of Gatorade that
feels like an Austin
That's more of an Austin thing than a Gen Z thing. In that case, I'm going to go with Ashley's being performatively very open, but as you said, will just feign pain to get out of any conversation she doesn't want to be a part of.
That's a great one. You really think Gen Z is an avoidant generation?
Not to play to stereotypes, but that to me is the social version of pretending you're neurodivergent so you can have more time on the test. Not saying everyone's doing that. I'm saying some people might be doing that.
Okay. I think Austin going straight to ChatGPT for all of his needs.
But Lindsay does it too.
Does she? When did she go to ChatGPT?
So when she goes to talk to her friend about her friend Penelope who's getting divorced, she was she looked up on ChatGPT and said she might be entitled to future wages.
Cross-generational. Okay.
We're all dead.
Not knowing what a deductible is. That's every young generation. I remember when I was explain it to me slowly.
Sometimes I still need the greater insurance systems explained to me.
The daily check on the phone as a relationship repair, is that a generational thing or is that cross-generational?
That might be a generational thing. I suspect that's just a certain kind of relationship period and a certain kind of person in that relationship period. But also, is the precipitating event for that just that he wasn't totally forthcoming about the Eunice situation?
And it's weird because she's the one who took his phone and used it to text Eunice.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
That's not a secret.
I love the whole thing where we're all very cognizant of the recently deleted. It's come up a couple times. She goes in there. He goes in there to look for it and it's gone. But then he very quickly has Detective, Austin on the case. He puts it together pretty quickly. So
got to give him credit.
Yeah. Just really shedding the himbo reputation left and right. Elder millennials.
I do think it's lighter in the broad strokes, but throwing yourself ceaselessly into work because you don't know how to process your emotions, only to then realize that all of the relationships in your life are transactional and the very delicate architecture you've built around everything that you are is crumbling around you. Who could relate?
If you show up in a manic state and asking everyone how the scones are, I will have some questions for you, Rob.
I do think overall, we talked about Josh's hairstyle. It's getting increasingly harried. Like whatever party is happening in the back is not a party I want to be attending.
Lindsay's saying you find yourself as a 40-year-old without the faintest idea of who you are.
Oh, yeah.
I have a bonus here.
Yes.
Which is William Fichtner is technically a boomer. I looked it up. He's not even Gen X. He's a boomer.
Just a straight boomer.
These apps are killing us, man.
It's the truest thing said on this show.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
But complimentary. Okay, boomer.
But in association, door dashing yourself a meal every night does feel like a very millennial thing to do.
All right. Needle drop.
See, I think this has to be like, again, Lindsay wandering around town in agony looking for Burberry as Josh has jet-setted to the ski chalet to wear a fur vest as he synthesizes with Hot Chip.
Who gave him that fur vest? Where did it come from?
I like to think one of the members of Hot Chip had it.
Or do you think Troy just has like a closet full of fur accessories for
honestly,
people?
you know he does. There's a whole like room of skis, all the equipment necessary, and of course the furs.
The fur room in the chalet in Park City.
Goes without saying.
Okay, great.
Oh, and also the way that episode then bleeds into a Father John Misty outro.
Father John Misty, real love.
Yeah,
that's it for me. All right, pop culture reference. Here's the thing that I've been dying to text you since I saw it. And you've received.
I think I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
I think it's the Top Gun Maverick bullet train situation. Is it not?
Almost, but not. It's the mezcal night.
See,
because that is something I would quite literally die to attend and or throw.
I had written down, we might need to get the whole Prestige family together for a mezcal night.
I would love it. And After Sun is definitely included in the experience of the mezcal night. Have I ever told you that in college, my friend and I used to throw what we called the Bale features, which were 2 Christian Bale movies back to back, and we went through his entire filmography that way. I love a pun name inside of a movie event. That's my favorite thing to do. So mezcal night, I was like, is Josh my soulmate or am I Josh?
On the pun front, I've attended 2 like movie marathon screenings. One, Denzel Washington, called the Denzel Watching-thon. Great. Went to a Tom Cruise one, Cruise Control. Great. This is how I know we're kindred spirits, though, Joe, is I and some friends would celebrate Leonardo DiCaprio's birthday every year, November 11th, with you come in costume as a Leo character. We started out watching like 2 to 3 Leo movies. It has become over time now almost not existent, but like maybe we watch one. And we would usually order pasta because he mentioned in like a Teen People magazine interview.
When did you start doing this?
I can't even remember.
You were a teenager?
I want to say it started with when J. Edgar came out. So this has been a minute. So not a teenager, but into adulthood.
Yeah. And what a great inciting project for you to start with.
I'm animated by many things.
Okay. So DiCaprio.
Yes. The great problem, though, is in the same interview, he mentioned, this is like teenage Leonardo DiCaprio was being interviewed saying.
Pussy Posse era.
Yes, absolutely.
DiCaprio.
Said his favorite food is pasta, so we got to get pasta.
Sure.
And then he said his favorite drink was Fruitopia, which is very hard to find now.
Yes.
I think we successfully did it one time. We sourced some. It did not hold up well. But if you have Fruitopia out there, I'm interested in buying it. I genuinely, if you have a Fruitopia
Rob would
hookup,
like to stockpile it.
That's the whole reason that we've done this podcast.
Is there a fun name for your DiCaprio?
There's not. This is what I'm realizing. I fucking missed the boat on that.
Okay. Press TV at Spotify.com if you know what Rob should name his DiCaprio event.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my literal favorite. There should be like a tie-in food theme, a fun name,
naturally,
and a movie of some kind. The reason I was wondering if it happened when you were started when you were a teenager because you were able to cite a teen interview of his favorite food.
That's just good, deep research.
My friend Hillary, I'm not like I actually do not give a shit about the royal family, but when we were teenagers, my friend Hillary and I every year used to make all of our friends celebrate Prince William's birthday as a joke. Mm-hmm. We would make a cake and then we would watch royal themed movies on Prince William's birthday.
This is a great bit.
I know. Bits are fun. Movie marathons are fun.
Party planner Joanna Robinson. High marks all around.
Mezcal night is so good.
Again, I think it might have to happen for us.
Let's do it. All right. I love that. But yeah, the Top Gun Maverick moment, so good. Also, Zero is Oppenheimer was also a great shots fired from our girl.
I also think as far as like relationship critiques and snipes go, having secret resentment because you couldn't go see Top Gun Maverick because your partner had COVID there is a reality to that.
And also your hatred of Bullet Train, where you just like, what a downgrade from Top Gun Maverick to Bullet Train.
I mean, that's your guy.
He's not my guy. I just like him better than you like him.
Okay. David Leitch, Joanna Robinson, the #1 super fan of David Leitch.
My on the Atomic Blonde DVD case is a pull quote from my review of Atomic Blonde. I think that's the only DVD case I'm on is the Atomic Blonde DVD case.
You're not going to dodge the allegations.
No,
on
I
this,
guess not.
I'm sorry to say.
All right, eat the rich. What do you have?
Where are we eating the rich this week? I actually think Troy does an extraordinarily nice thing for Josh in these episodes in terms of whisking him away and trying to get his mind off it, organizing
a chalet party.
A chalet party on a moment's notice.
Hot chip on speed dial.
But that's the thing, like getting hot chip and a full party within, I don't know, 2.5 hours.
How long does it take to fly to Park City? Yeah, like a couple hours on the PJ.
They were wheels up in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Very short flight, then to the chalet. The turnaround on that is pristine rich people shit.
I have to wonder though, well, there must be a private airport outside of Park City because it takes a minute to get there from the Salt Lake City airport, but there's probably something
for the PJs.
For
yes.
the PJs outside of Park City.
Well, and along those lines, I did look up, Joe, the Yamazaki 25-year whiskey single malt that they drink. Would you like to take a guess at how much it costs a bottle?
A bottle, not a glass.
Let me give you, I mean, just off the top, notes of sandalwood, persimmon, some ume, some ginger. How much do you think one bottle of Yamazaki 25-year-old single malt whiskey costs?
4 figures.
Yes. $7,000 a bottle.
Oh.
That's why Josh is like, yeah, you know what? I will have some.
And fair enough. What I was really judging, like, honestly, under worst mistake, I kind of think going to Park City when your dog is missing and not yet declared dead, and he's like, we're all grieving Burberry in different ways, and Lindsay's like, I'm actually out here looking for Burberry, was a pretty big mistake. I do think, oh shit, we're in your chalet, this does not bode well, is like a great line. Here's where I'm eating the rich. I'm eating the rich in the steam room, and here's why. Eucalyptus steam, honestly, 10 out of 10. It's a great experience. And I too have been to a spa where the eucalyptus steam was not eucalyptusing, and I didn't complain, but that is like a
but
different.
You thought about complaining.
No.
You registered the complaint.
I was just
internally.
I was just like, this isn't the same without the eucalyptus.
It's not hitting.
But here's what I hate about the rich people who attend this club: how they're always asking for free shit from Josh. Can you comp this? His doctor friend, right? Like, you know, can I get a free round of golf? Not during peak hours. Yeah. Okay, during peak hour.
But also that's 4 people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like all the, you know, the people in the steam room, Josh is like, I'll comp this, I'll comp that. And I'm just like, these people have more. These people can afford $7,000 bottles of whiskey, and they are constantly cheaping it up. It's eat them up.
This is the secret about rich people: is they all want free shit
in eucalyptus steam. You know what I mean? All right, last but not least, libbing out with the beef.
We're just straight back in the pit. This is an episode of the pit.
Okay, when Austin was like, where are the Filipino nurses?
Princess Perla, where are you?
Where are they? Anything you want to say specifically? I'll say this, not to like harsh the mellow or whatever. But as part of like my whole health thing last year, I had an oophorectomy, and that's when I learned what that was. So when I saw Ashley on the table and they're like oophorectomy, I was like, oh fuck, they're taking her ovary out. Like I know that specific word. And so when she woke up and they're like, everything's fine, I was like, this is a fucking, like, even before it became like very clear it was a dream, I was like, there's no way she's okay. $27,000 debt over a DiGiorno.
Over a maybe Hot Pocket.
No, they're eating DiGiorno as they're talking about their debts. But yes, chicken bacon ranch, Hot Pocket.
Wouldn't recommend.
And I would say the app we signed up for to help with our finances, cancel that.
The writing is very good.
It's very good.
The writing is very good. I do think just the general extended comedy routine around the insurance industrial complex, it is a broken system for show, as you mentioned, Joe. Like, even just like, they can't target you. There's laws and stuff. Like all of these ways in which they are trying to wrangle.
Yeah.
Being in the hospital, paying for being in the hospital. Ashley's like, it's kind of heartbreaking, but also kind of funny how much she's like being told, like, we removed your ovary, and she's like, how much did it cost? Like, it has to be the first reaction to basically everything.
Is this covered? That's a billing question while she's like under anesthesia.
It's a billing question. It's heartbreaking. But the terrifying parts of being in the hospital also kind of living out in their own way. This is a more hellacious ER environment than anything we saw in the pit. The moment where Ashley is looking across at the person on the other bed and there are like 4 different bodily fluids pooling at their feet.
That's what I meant under the A24 sort of like, what were those fluids? And then when the 5150 walks by, like tit out, just being like, it's too late. Like, what's happening? I missed that on the
tit out.
Tit out.
Yeah.
Just the one. I missed that on the himbo category. Austin trying to pull the 5150. She's the 5150. That's not.
Well, as we discussed on the pit, who the greatest villains on that show have been over the course of season 2. Is the blonde nurse the greatest villain on this show?
Kinda, but maybe also Josh withholding medical care.
Josh very bad.
Yeah.
Ashley's dad not the greatest villain, but sucks.
So I'm saying absentee Gen X is kind of interesting. What's going on with her mom? I don't know.
We will get a consummated contact with her mom this season, I would think, right?
I hope so. Is that why she's latching onto Lindsay in an interesting way? I don't know.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. All right. Anything else you want to talk about in this stretch of episodes?
I am eager to see how the greater concerns about Chairwoman Park's businesses interact.
Sure, we haven't touched on that at all, but that's, she had someone killed. She had, so if I'm tracking this correctly.
Yeah, let's talk about Woosh.
Woosh is her her ex-husband's son with another woman.
That is my understanding.
The question I had when she was having that conversation with him was he was like, well, then I wouldn't exist. But the way she responded to that, I was like, was there overlap? Was this a child that he had with another woman while he was still married to her? She seems to have a lot of regret around, he seemed to have been maybe the love of her life in some way, or I don't know the nature of their divorce, but that all seemed quite messy. And then she has looked out for him in his life. I love that when she was like, you look more like your mother, right before she offs him. Also, Here's the thing about the reason I was surprised by that. I wasn't surprised that she wasn't going to promote him to VP, that he was in trouble. Yeah. It was the alacrity in which she had that, because when did she make that call?
Yeah.
He got hit on the way out of her house. Does she have a little button under a table that she, just a Matt Lauer button that she pushes and she's a truck comes speeding by?
100% she does. Those people are on speed dial. This is a very powerful woman who is not fucking around.
But is that truck just idling around the corner, just waiting for the button to be pushed?
I guess there is a non-zero chance. Actually, there's not. That it's pure coincidence that it's not Chairwoman Park orchestrated. It has to be her.
She definitely killed that himbo.
Just with the swiftness.
Yeah. He went out full of lasagna.
I would like to. If I'm gonna pick a time, there are worse times to go. And so Woosh is her not son of her ex-husband, who is at least as far as we understand now, not related to her in any actual way.
I don't believe so.
And Eunice is her translator and aide and confidant in the way that those translators tend to be, but not actually biologically related to her. But they were all sleeping and staying in the same house.
Right.
Yeah.
And Woosh had the invoice information, but Eunice has a clue as to what is on the case about what's going on with this malpractice.
Yeah, she is actively snooping in a way that Woosh just had to have the evidence thrown at him by Ashley, basically. And I do think if there were an investigation, into Chairwoman Park's broader enterprise vis-a-vis Dr. Kim's medical practice because of a wrongful death in Korea, would they really be interviewing Woosh?
No. Eunice, yes. Woosh, I don't know why Woosh is on the witness, the inquiry list.
Other than maybe there's some impression.
Because he's involved in the clinic, because he was
but
getting people to go to the clinic.
But at that point, it was under the table. I would think relatively quiet. Maybe he was on commission or something in a more formal capacity than we've been led on. But I guess credit to the Seoul police for being incredibly thorough.
We know that they are. We know that they are. Okay. But Chairwoman Park, I'm interested to see how that all angles of this story. I'm really excited for episodes 7 and 8.
I think how those elements of the story continue to impact what's going on with Josh and Lindsay and Austin and Ashley.
Do you think we're going to Korea? Are Lindsay and Ashley and Ava going girls trip?
We've already been
on the PJ.
We've already been some.
No, but are we is the whole
cast going to
Korea?
I would love it.
I would love it too.
I really hope that's the turn it's taking. You can only stay at the country club so long, you know? Let's get out. Let's stretch our legs.
I think we've lingered too long at the country club. Too much eucalyptus steam up the nostrils.
Maybe
All right.
So
to recap, if you have access to Fruitopia, please let
Get at
Rob
me.
know.
Yeah.
If you have an idea of what he should call his annual Leonardo DiCaprio celebration.
Yep. 11/11.
Follow-up question. Can you please now list, I'm so sorry, I did not do my due diligence.
Yeah.
What are the various DiCaprio characters that you have shown up as over the years?
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
Definitely when it's him in the Basketball Diaries. Definitely when it's him in Catch Me If You Can. Specifically when he shows up to the airport and is waiting outside and tilts up his sunglasses just so to gauge whether the police are there.
I knew it was going to be Catch Me.
I mean, gotta be in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I know we've talked about this before because I've shown you one of the costumes, which is a Vanity Fair photo that he took in which his neck is wrapped by a swan.
The swan photo. I don't know that you told me what event it was,
That
but you did tell me you dressed up as DiCaprio with the swan around your neck. I have seen that photo.
As one does. And that's because we had to open it up. Over time, it's like there's only so many roles despite his massive filmography. Like, you got to broaden your horizons. And so it became, if you can find a photo of Leonardo DiCaprio and emulate it, the world is your oyster.
Whether he's talking about pasta or not in that interview.
It might be.
Is the swan around the neck, is that the best DiCaprio costume that has happened, or has one of your friends outshone you in any way?
I mean, it's definitely my best. I made the swan. So, like, I mean, these are the levels I'm willing to go through for Leonardo DiCaprio, apparently.
You're a very special person.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, please get back to Rob about Fruitopia or naming his DiCaprio event. Thank you to Devon and Renaldo for their work on this episode, Jacob Cornett. Thanks to Grady. Thanks to all of you for listening or watching us. We'll be back with 7 and 8 sometime later this week. And more Euphoria continues apace.
Can't wait.
See you soon. Bye.